My name is Vitaly, and today I'm going to talk a bit about integration custom widgets with Qt Designer. So during the talk, you can ask any clarification questions, but for long questions and some discussions, please just move them further because we don't have a lot of time. So first of all, a few words about me. I've been doing Qt since 2019, and also despite of wearing black and don't having proper template for this presentation, I am working for Qt company as a senior software engineer at Quick and Widgets team. Before Qt, I also was working on some GIC software for math modeling, and for visual effects. I also hold PhD in geospatial informatics, whatever it means. Just part of computer science. So, and for today, first of all, I'm going to describe Qt Widgets module. Then user cases of this module, there are still a few of them. Also, I'm going to perform some short demo. This is first demo. I also want to show custom widget examples, actually one, but anyway, no spoilers so far. After that, I'm going to discuss integration approaches, how to integrate your custom widgets with Qt Designer. And one of these most robust approaches using Qt Designer plugin, right? And also after that, I'm going to show you how to design and develop this plugin using Qt Designer Creator. So, and I hope we will have at least a few minutes for QA session. But anyway, let's get started. So first, Qt widgets, right? And my question is, how many of you has any experience with Qt widgets module? Please. Oh, yes, almost all of you, but let's briefly describe it. So that's basically the set of UI elements, right? Which looks more or less like classic desktop style widgets. And also you can customize them, changing styles and some other things. Also, you can do layouts. Hope you're also familiar with layouts concepts, right? So it allows you to do sort of dynamic or adaptive widgets. And it also supports model view. A pattern, it's basically MVC, but without a real controller part, right? So you can represent your data using some sort of views like table views, list view, and some other things. And also there is some graphic, so graphic scene and things. You can basically paint things on it. And now when you might need using those widgets, right? So first of all, when you want to get this native look and feel just out of the box, so no many words on customization, you just get something that looks more or less close to what your system UI provides. Also, if you have mostly static UI, right, because of some, old approaches to rendering, it cannot use hardware to accelerate your rendering. And if you have a lot of animations, we provide a different technology called Quick and QML. There are a lot of talks about this technology, so I don't want to repeat. We also have a table that might advise you, in which case you need to use widgets and in which case you might need to use QML, right? And also it works for, more or less traditional desktop apps, right? Like, for example, Office application or application for some banking and some other things when you can have a lot of forms to fill in, right? More or less classical approach to UI building, but not, for example, for modern approaches, right? Like what is called Google Material Design and some other things. For this, please use QML, it works. So, Qt Designer. And my next question, who has experience with Qt Designer or Qt Creator? So not, okay, a lot of people actually. And now let's briefly discuss this. So what's Qt Designer, right? That's basically an application to design and build GUI. And you can do it using what you see, what you get approach with quick preview of results. So you can construct a form like use drag and drop to place widgets on it and then preview the result, right? So you can adjust behavior. So how many of you familiar with signal and slot concepts from Qt? Guess almost all. Yeah, that's great. That's what I mean. And also you can adjust in layout, so how it feels when you resize in your application window, and you can change styling, right, of your widgets and preview result quickly. So now let me perform a short demo. So many of you are familiar with this, but so we can do it quickly, right? So I have Qt Creator open here. Is it fine? Do I need to zoom it a bit or? Okay, I guess I can zoom it. That's better, right? So here is main window of Qt Designer, and there are available components here. So we can simply, like, if you need component, for example, push button, you can drag it here, drop, and it would work, right? So I also can add a checkbox. If I need to adjust it, I can do layouts. It's like over there, at the top panel. And like, okay, I can do this. It looks ugly. I can do like this. It looks much better. And now I can adjust my form, right? So a bit, and it's kind of dynamic, right? So, and you can notice that all widgets are appeared here in the object tree view, right? So here is a checkbox, push button, and you may notice that when I select a widget here from form or from the tree, there is properties, right? So you can change, for example, button text for something sensible or not. So, and I also mentioned that you can adjust behavior, right? We have some modes here. For example, if I want to edit slot signals, I can connect some slot, like click it, for example, to slot toggle, right, and checkbox. And it means when I compile it, let's do that. So, okay, when I click button, right, the behavior of checkbox is changed. So it's like checked and checked, so just on toggle. So, and this is also kind of dynamic. So I guess that's it about Qt Creator, or Qt Designer, sorry. I mean, I might mix up those two because I simply, strictly speaking, using Qt Designer inside of Qt Creator, but you know that Qt Creator is kind of a backbone, right? When you can attach some plugins, and Designer is, in this case, one of them. So any questions about Designer overview? You might also notice that this connection is appeared here in like signal slot editor, right? So there are some of them also. So question? Yeah? Is there any possibility to search in the list of widgets? Yep. For example, I want to search for push button, right? Yeah, but on the other side, this one, tree, right? Yeah.
With a lot of widgets, and I would like, nowadays I am trying to change something in them, but it is hard to find it in the form. So I would like to find it in this list. I didn't find it the possibility to search by name.
It works. Yeah. You see, I need to press either Command F or on other systems like Control F. So, and you can like skip to, or you see this widget is simply highlighted, right? So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Another question. Here is a question. Please raise your hand, or guy with mic. Don't. Okay.
Hello, are Qt Quick Controls supported at all?
Well, yes, but for Qt Quick Controls, there is another plugin called Qt Quick Designer, and if I have my QML project, right, you can do pretty much the same and also much more things. So, but, well, that's not, I guess, a subject of current talk, right? So, but yes, there is absolutely the same editor for Quick Controls. When you have your QML project like this .qml files, it will be activated automatically when you switch to design mode. So, any other questions? Okay. So then we can move to the next thing, right? So, custom widgets for now. And this is spoiler. It would be spoiler widget, right? So, who is familiar with this spoiler widget concept? What this is for? Okay, I will describe it. So I have the second project here, and now let's look on this one. Okay, so this basically a custom widget contains like several different widgets, and there is a button to fold and fold content title and content itself, right? In my case, there is like a simple, well, text, so it's a Q label. And if you press this button, it might be folded or not folded, depends on the state, right? So, and you might notice that there is a combination of several widgets, right? But if I consider it as a component or as a widget, I don't need to have an access to all of those properties, right? Basically, as a developer, I don't care. So I need, for example, access to title, to content, for example, to showing and hidden title, but not for all the things presented in this tree, right? So, and for this purpose, we have something called properties. I hope you see it here. And this is my spoiler widget. So just I can hear it Q widget. And here we have some properties. So who's familiar with property concept in Qt? Okay, many of them, but for those who doesn't familiar, we basically fill some gaps in C++ standard. So properties is just like properties of some object. For example, an orange might have a color, so has color, and it would be color properties. So this is property name, and there are some methods to reach, write, and notify, because in Qt we widely use this observer pattern when connecting slots and signals. And all of those things are presented in meta system, right? And further, you will see that all of them appeared in Designer magically. So, and there is also some logic. We don't need to get into details now. This project is available on GitLab, and I will give you links after that. So, any questions about this custom widget, which is basically a combination of some other widgets with some sort of interface that users are supposed to manipulate from Designer? So, no questions? Great, then we can move. Oh, sorry, I need to. So, and now, since we have our custom widget, right, we want to integrate it with Designer. So, how to do that? And basically, there are a few approaches. So, first of all, we have a dialog called promote widget. And if you, for example, do right-click on a form, you can observe this dialog when you can specify base widget, and then you need to specify header file of your custom widget, and during compilation, the custom widgets will be used instead of the based one, right? Well, I'm not going to show it because it's not that interesting. And this approach has some problems. First of all, there is no convenient access to properties, right? Properties, that's what we exposed in the previous example to adjust, to change state basically of our aggregate object, right? So there is some, well, ways, and you can define this property manually, but it's still not that convenient. We want to do like, fast development and everything will be done automatically for us. Not great. And also the second problem is that these widgets won't be rendered in Qt Designer, right? So when you drag and drop it, you will observe like just a simple base widget, which is pretty much nothing, like a rectangle, has the same color with main form. And there is the second approach. So we have Qt Designer plugin. It's basically like a real plugin That's a shared library, so that should be put in a special place and loaded by Qt Designer. So, and there is one drawback, of course. So you need to maintain the separate project, right? Test it, have some, well, things to deploy it, to build, and care about, well, how your IDE will be locating this. So, and now let's talk a bit about second approach, which is Qt Designer plugin. So, and first of all, you can use this nice helper to create a plugin, right? So you can just navigate to other project and choose Qt Custom Designer widget, and then get this thing where you can basically only need to fill a name. For example, I have this my full widget. So, and it would create all boilerplate, all skeleton for you, right? You don't need to care about many things if you want to just experiment. But there is a structure which is created, right? And there are a few key things here. This sub-project, spoiler widget itself. So, and in the bottom, it's a plugin, right? So that's not a big interface, but let's see. So another thing is how to deploy your plugin, right? Because the ID should somehow locate it. And because of that, we have the following lines in the profile. So we have this Qt_install_ plugins, which would be evaluated to path to some Qt version, Qt-based plugins, right? And this is a place where your plugin will be like deployed after build. This, by the way, done for you automatically. So you don't need to care about it at all. You just need to select correct build kit in Qt Designer. So there is an interface. That's some small tiny things you don't need to care about. A lot of them are already implemented for you, right? So, but there are some essential things, right? So among the methods, I mean. And essential things first, it's like create widget method, right? When you need to return new instance of your custom widget with a proper parent. So to manage resources and things. And another, it's include file. So you have to specify which file should be used as include one, because, well, it should be used for displaying your widget properly. All right, and now I'm going to show you how to use this widget and what it looks like. So I have the third project, right? So, and now, okay, I need to probably zoom it a bit. So let's do that. And, okay, that's fine. And you see that this is a separate widget, right? So it's like a spoiler widget of spoiler type, with some text I already added it, and this same widget is appeared here. So this is a spoiler widget with, unfortunately, default icon and some tooltip I added. So, but if you want, you can change, of course, this icon. It's not a big problem. And here we have some properties, the right corner. So, for example, I can change this property we previously exposed. For example, expanded collapsed, right? And you can see all changes are immediately rendered here. So I can change this back to expanded, or I can, for example, hide the title, right? So there is no title anymore. And of course, I can change text. So it's like a fancy editor we have in Qt created. There is a rich text editing available. So, and I also can change the title, right? So let's build it. And okay, first of all, we need to, okay. So this is like main window application, right? So everything is, well, resizable and foldable and unfoldable. So for example, if I change property to, okay, I'm going to select this widget. And for example, I don't want to have a title. So let's see. Yeah, it works. So we go. Any questions here? So this widget, by the way, might be like, like drag and drop menu. So we can drop another one here. So if we want, with a default title, that's object name, it's not what we need. Okay, so no questions, that's great. And now we need to do a quick review of what we learned, all right? We should have plenty of time for questions, some other things, right? So, and basically what we learned. So what the Qt widget model and what it should be used for, right? So what is the Qt designer and how to use it, how to integrate it, and what the custom widgets are, right? Also, we learned how to use or how to design and implement Qt designer plugins. And I also have this additional information. I hope those slides will be available somewhere, right? And first is a plugin code, which is available on our company GitHub. Also, we have Qt designer manual that describes some tips and tricks. And there is a small, as far as I remember, manual how to create the custom widgets, all right? And I guess that's it from me, all right? And there is a QA session. So, yeah, here's a question.
Hi. How would you distribute changes to your plugin widget amongst different developers now?
Oh, well, okay, that's a good question. And those approach with plugin, I guess, only makes sense if you have like a probably huge organization and a lot of developers who use it, right? And that might be, well, a part of your CI system, for example, right? Or something like that, when artifacts are already compiled and installed by your CI, right, to the proper directory, because you need clearly to have a Qt, right? So, and those plugins should be installed to proper Qt directory. So, and if you have all of those things, it's basically should be distributed like a regular binary artifact, right? You have on building. So that's absolutely the same, because this plugin itself, I probably, well, I didn't show you, but anyway, it's like just shared library. So it's loaded by Qt Creator. If you're under Linux or Mac, for example, you can use strace to just check calls and make sure that it's true. So, yep, that's it. Any other questions? Yep, here is a question.
Wouldn't it be sufficient to have a symbolic link in the Qt directory and to build your plugin automatically as part of your build process for your application?
Oh, well, that's actually might be built independently and with Qt, so which, strictly speaking, doesn't matter, right? So in terms of efficiency, or was that question? Ah, it's a suggestion, right? Okay. So, well, it's basically, it's not a responsibility of the framework, right? It depends on what delivery system you have inside of your company. So how do you deliver this artifact? So how do you build them? So that's like a bit beyond of the framework implementer's duties. So any other questions? Slides should be available, or I ask organizers to post them or post under the video, right? Or you can come to me and I give you a link. So because I'm not really sure, they probably should be available somewhere. I just need to, well, to check it out.
And any property of the widget that you are creating can be defined in the class interface in the DOM Excel or
You mean like, should that be in XML representation? Well, all standard properties, yeah, they are already included because they inherited, right? So, and in Qt Designer, if we can, do we have some? Oh, yeah, we have some time. Okay, and you see, like here, so we have all widgets properties, right? I just fold them. So, and they are available for you automatically. And there are only like special properties here, right, of spoiler widget, but you can see all hierarchy here, right? And you have an access to all properties of all widgets.
You can change the policy of, for example,
Yeah, sure, without any problems.
yeah, by defaulting the class or
You can do both. You can change it, like, for example, in widget constructor, right, and do by default for this current component, or you can change it here, right? And if you save, everything will be saved in the XML representation, which is the UI file, right? So, yes, another question here. We still have some.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
please, this last question, and then let's give a time to the next guy to prepare.
Hello. What about the tab index order? Can we manipulate it inside the spoiler widget from here? Or have we go into the spoiler widget and manipulate there the tab order?
If I want to, okay, here is widget is like sort of aggregate object, right? It's composition of widgets, and this is solid state here, right? If you want to manipulate any separate components, you need to change widget itself, right? Before you compile it and load to Qt Designer. So, or you can expose some properties, right? Custom properties, and in this case, you will be able to manipulate here, right? In this designer. So, but widget, it's like custom widget is solid state thing, right? Because if you have a push button, you probably cannot manipulate like button, label, icon, and some other things, right? Separate. It makes no sense. So, but anyway, then thank you. And this is another talk.